Canion, and today's show is going to be a good one. I don't care who shows up, if anybody shows up, I'm still going to provide the content. I'm still going to provide the knowledge. I'm still going to give it to you like I would if it was 1,000 in the room. So today's subject is on love, lust, and lies is how men test women. How men test women. And all of you, you say things like, people say things like, I ain't gonna play no games. I don't want to play no games. I ain't playing no games. I'm not playing any games. I don't want nobody to play games with me. Well, the truth of the matter is that games are a part of relationships. And you might not like the idea of games, but today we're going to talk about tests that men play or give, tests that men give, and we're going to also find out that tests are necessary. I wrote down 6 of them, probably going to give you 5 of them today on what to look out for, how you get tested in relationships or potential relationships, or while you're in a relationship, and what you should do to pass the test. All right. Number 1 of ways how men test women. The first test is the sexual test. Now, the sexual test is every man, don't get it twisted, every man wants sex. I've gone over this for the last 2 weeks, that men are wired to want sex. Whether a man likes you emotionally, whether he wants to see himself with you or not, he more than likely wants to have sex with you. And so I've been around some women who get upset and say things like, all a man wants is sex. No, that's not all he wants. It's not all he wants, but it is a part of what he wants because he's wired to want sex. Hey, LaShonda, how you doing? Good to see you. And so the thing is, it is not what the man wants, the sexual nature of the relationship, because men want sex. A good man, bad man, indifferent man, all of us want sex. That's how we're wired because of the testosterone in our body, the way God made man to want to procreate. Imagine if a man did not have any testosterone in his body. I don't care how much you wanted him, how much you wanted to have sex, he wouldn't want to. Okay? He wouldn't want to, he'd just be, the thing between our legs would just be hanging and that'd be that. All right? And so what I'm telling you is we're wired that way. Now, the reason why a man has a sexual test, get this, because every man wants to have sex with you. That doesn't mean that every man wants to have an intimate connection with you or an emotional connection. He wants to have sex. That's why we're wired. Now, he's going to give you a sexual test. And this sexual test is for 2 reasons. Number 1, the sexual test is to see how quickly he can have sex with you, how quickly he can hit that. And the second test is he wants to know how much of the relationship is going to be sexual in nature. Okay? He wants to know, because again, when he first meets you, he wants to have sex. He doesn't know if he wants to have an intimate relationship. He might say, oh, you're beautiful, you're fine, whatever, you this and that. But he doesn't know if he wants to have an emotional relationship with you. But he knows from the rip that he wants to have a physical relationship with you. Now, when he tests you in this manner, here's where women screw up. See, here's where they screw up. And what women think is, okay, I want to show him that I'm feeling him, so I'm going to give him this. And what happens is, but the woman eventually says, you know what, I want more than this. I'm giving you this to show you what kind of girl I am. I'm that chick that wants to be with you. I want to satisfy you. I want to take care of your needs. And then he gets a physical connection, but he doesn't get the mental and emotional connection. So here's the thing. What I want you to do is this. I want you to, and men text you sexually. So what it does, let me tell you how the test works. So it works like escalation. It's escalating. So what he does is, this is how the test roll, y'all. So he starts out with, hey, beautiful, whatever, how you doing? And then he says, and then he might say, because the conversation always escalates. Then he says, I went out and bought something that I'm going to try on, how does it look? And then he sends it to you, and you're like, oh, girl, you look good. You think I look good? And then he was like, let me send you another picture. See how you think I look in this. Then he sends you a picture in his underwear or whatever. But it's always escalating. Always. That's what men do. Because what he's trying to figure out is he's saying, how far can I go? How far can I go with you? And so here's what I'm saying. If you don't want an emotional connection with the guy, then go ahead. You're a grown woman. If you want to just have a physical relationship, nothing's stopping you. But if you want to have an emotional connection with the guy, be careful. Put the brakes on the physical stuff right away. Because a man may want to sleep with you, but it lets you know. It lets you know where he is. Because if he walks away, if you say, hey, I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not ready for that right now. And he walks away, then you know that's all he wanted. But that's why I say put the brakes on it. Let's find out. If you just want to, just hit it, split it, and keep moving, go do that. You're grown. All right, you can do that. But if you want a serious relationship, you want a committed relationship, then that's not the way to go about it. But every man is going to test you sexually. Now, some men are a little slow about the test than the others. But more than likely, 90% of them are going to test you. And most of what I found is most men who don't test you sexually are either having some issues down there. I mean, erectile dysfunction issues, and you can get to know them. And I've seen that happen too. Or he really wants to show you he's a man of integrity. He goes overboard. I'm polite. I'm integrity. When a man goes overboard and it's just so much love bombing, it's all of this. Be careful. Overcompensation means that you're hiding something. Overcompensation means that you're hiding something. First one is sexual test. Second one is the jealousy test. Every man is going to give you the jealousy test. They give it to you they might give it to you. They might give it to you in different ways. Maybe the jealousy test, if you go to a gathering, you see them talking to somebody. They know you're watching, you're talking to somebody, you're looking smooth where you act. They want to see how you're going to react to them. They want to see because what men do, they use jealousy to determine how deep you are in the relationship, how deep they are inside your head. Now, what a man does not figure, what he doesn't take into account is that your ass might be crazy. And so when he performs the jealousy test, somebody calls him, who are you on the phone with? Just my home girl. But what he's attempting to do is really see how deep he is in with you, how much you have an affinity for him. Are you feeling him? How deep is it? And so what I tell women to do is this: don't react at all. You might see it. Unless it's totally disrespectful. But if it gets totally disrespectful, we're going to get to another one of these down later in this list to tell you how to deal with that. But he wants to see a reaction. It's just like you might be with your friend. He might compliment your friend, but he's trying to see how you're going to react. Maybe not he's trying to get with your friend because he knows if he was trying to get with somebody, he wouldn't get with her in your face and still keep you. But what he's trying to do is see how you're going to react. And so what you do is you play it cool. Don't let him see you sweat. And he doesn't know how you actually feel. And then what he's going to do is come at you even harder. He's going to want to win you even more. He's going to be like, wow, dang. And so it works for men too now. Because check this out, y'all. I remember that I was telling my boy one time. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, if you want to talk to her, here's what you do. I didn't know I had these powers long ago. This is before I started doing right. I said, well, look, because everybody else showing no attention, act like you don't want to show no attention. Act like you're looking all around her. Act like she doesn't exist. And you know what? And she was like, what's up with your boy? Why? He don't speak? And all of a sudden, I told him, what I said, you got her now. Told you. Because people want what they can't have. Jealousy test. You can pass it, y'all. The third test is what I call the sarcasm test. Now, you got to watch this test. Because this test is a prelude sometimes to abuse. And here's what I'm saying. Sarcasm test, you with a guy, and what he does is they also call it, in psychology, they call it negging. What he'll do is start making little comments about you. Oh, your jeans fitting too loose. You know, you ain't got enough back there to hold no jeans up. And so what he's doing is he's simply just a little sarcastic, but he masks it as a joke. But it's a way to bring you down some. And the reason why people do this, and y'all, there's science that's been studied on this. Whenever you bring a person down a notch, okay, whenever you subtly jab at them, then the other person who's being jabbed at, and you cloak it as a joke. Cloak it as, so they don't see it as sarcasm or you're denigrating them or anything like that, because you cloak it as a joke. He's cloaking it as a joke. And what he's doing is bring you down just a little bit, bring you down just to see how much you will accept, to see how far he can go. Do you know also there are studies that show this? Studies that say that when a person brings you down a little bit, brings you down, just constantly just nagging, little things to stick at you, that your need for approval from that person exponentially goes up. And what happens? Now, if it's a guy, I can bring you down. Now I make myself look a little bit above you. Okay? A little bit above you. Now what you're trying to do is want to be with me. You want to be with me. Now you want to be with the guy because you're trying to make him approve of you. Y'all, it's a manipulative test. It's subtle, but look for it. And then many times people don't see it. And so that's why I'm saying, and what he's doing is seeing how much he can test, how much he can do, how much he can bring you down, how much he can bring you down. And then now you're seeking that person's approval. Once you start seeking that person's approval, got him, got him, got him. Okay, now every day, your waking moment is to please them. I want to please you. Okay, is this okay with you? Is this okay? If I go do this, is this okay with you? They want to try to please the person now. And then, got him. That's how it is. All right, so just so you know, that test. Now, test number 4. Test number 4 is the situationship or entanglement test. The situationship or entanglement test. Now, many of us have been victim of the situationship or entanglement. I call it entanglement because of Will and Jada. And what it is, the situationship is you've been dating a person, and then you say you've been dating a guy, and then all of a sudden, about 3-4 weeks into it, and you say, hey, I want something, I want something serious. I want something, different. I want more. And he doesn't say anything. He's like, yo, I'm good. Let's just keep things the way they are. I kind of don't want a relationship. Or he says something like this: I don't really like labels. And what he's doing is testing you to see how far you'll let the situationship or entanglement linger. And see, if you let it linger, and he says things like this, I'm just trying to find myself, I don't know what I want. And so what you got to understand about a man does not take that long to decide what he wants. That's why you might date a man I've seen relationships where a dude dated a man for 3-4 years, and then they break up, and in 8 months he's engaged to somebody else. They get married within a year. Don't take that long, y'all. What he's doing is testing, how long can I keep you at bay? How long can I keep you in this type of relationship without ever creating a relationship with commitment involved? And so I'll just create this situationship. We'll keep this situationship going. We'll keep this entanglement going just long enough. And what I'll do is I'll come up with a whole bunch of different excuses of why I can't do it. So let me give y'all an example of this. So recently, one of the people that was coaching with me, and then I told her, she was telling me about the situation. The guy was living with a woman, and I said, the truth of the matter is he ain't gonna never be with you. He's never going to be with you, and I'll tell you why. I said, well, how long? She says, it was the kids, because of the kids and all of this, and the lady is not treating me good. My wife doesn't treat me good. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. And this is when I bust her in the head. I said this. I said, if a man came to you and said, listen, My relationship with my wife is great. She gives me sex all the time. We don't argue. We have the typical arguments, but I ain't going nowhere. And the truth of the matter is, I just want to hit you. I just want to hit you. That's it. How would you react? And then she said, what? I said, that's what he's saying. But if he said that, then you would be like, I ain't going to do this shit. But he has to put together a narrative. He has to put together a narrative, and the narrative goes something like this. My wife don't treat me good. She don't give me no sex. She complains all the time. We argue all the time. And now what happens? Then you feel sorry. You like, I'm going to fulfill his needs. I'm going to give him sex all the time. I'm going to be there for him. I'm going to be that ride or die chick. You need something? Okay, I got you. And then all of a sudden, you're in a situationship. You're in an entanglement. And ultimately, you hope that you think he's going to leave his wife, but he ain't. All it is, he just want to keep it going just like it's going. And so all that is a test. And the way you pass that is back up. Let me get at this. If you can't give me, if you cannot make a decision to leave, then I will. Then I will. Okay? Y'all, for real, for real. And look, and the last one, I'm going to do you one more. One more ways that men test women is, I call this, do you value and respect yourself test. Do you value and respect yourself test. And what this is you get around some men who will say things to you. They might even intentionally disrespect you. They might do something in your face, talk to a female in your face. They might, and what they're doing is seeing how far they can go. And what happens is, if you never check that, if you never go say anything about that, and what happens, what I tell people is this. I said, the truth is, maintain your composure. Start there. Because if you, and listen to me carefully what I'm about to tell you. I said, do not get upset. So what it is now he can't hear your message without looking at the messenger. And so I tell them, keep your composure and say, hey, the truth is I respect myself, and I will not be disrespected by anyone, including you, no matter what I feel about you. And then you be willing to walk away, because what happens is you have to chin check them. You have to chin check them. It's just like a boxer who chin checks him to get you back up off me. And if you don't chin check a man, he's going to ultimately go further and further, especially the men who are doing this kind of disrespectful behavior. And because what he's saying is, okay, she don't really respect and love herself, so you know what, I can pretty much get away with whatever I want to. He doesn't consciously say that, but subconsciously, that's actually what's going on. Subconsciously, y'all. And the truth of the matter is, if you don't stop it, more than likely he won't, because he's done it before. And women think I'm gonna just let him get it. You know, I'll give him a pass this go round. And by the time you look at it, now you knee deep in verbal abuse. That's the way it is. All right, that's my time. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. I'm Ken Canion, the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. And until Monday, I'm out.